Good evening, this is Kiwi Tom. I am just doing myself a video so that I can have some sort of log of some of my trade ideas moving ahead. This is the end of the second quarter, so we're 6 months completed into 2018. I've been trading Forex a lot more often than I have in previous years. I've been learning a lot more about technical analysis and partnering that up with my fundamentals. So I thought I'd do a quick video of the current state of things as I see them now with my experience and watching the markets carefully for the past 3 months. And it's been a very interesting quarter, and I think starting next month in July could be even more crazy, if you like. We've got Trump tariffs about to hit China, Europe, and Canada and other countries. So that's going to create some sort of havoc amongst markets once they start actually being applied. There's been a lot of talk about them. There's been some information released and things like that, but July 6th is meant to be the date that the first ones hit. So this is the gold chart. This is a monthly chart, and see how in the last quarter gold has dropped quite heavily, and it's coming into a support area that I picked once it broke through a previous support, and it's certainly coming down there at a great rate of knots. The US dollar has been quite strong and is just starting to show signs of softening this afternoon. It's Friday, June the 29th. Looking at copper, another major commodity, along with silver and others, with gold, we can see a massive bounce off the resistance over here, and certainly looking like the commodities are going to head bearish in the next quarter. I'd be interested once that breaks that little support there, which has held previous attempts at breaking that on the monthly chart. So copper's been in a range for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 months, and it looks like it might start heading back down. What I'm really interested in is what's happening with this, the S&P 500. These are the major companies in the US, and you can see it's been on a massive bullish movement for many months. We go right back to, this is 2009 that we can see on this chart right now. It's just been one big bullish market, but we're starting to see an area over here that the market has been starting to fluctuate back and forwards. It's still in a bull market right now, but by all accounts from some of the experienced traders that I've connected with, they say that it's starting to turn, and with dropping commodities, trade tariffs being introduced, these things will negatively impact. Now, if the S&P 500 starts going bearish, then we will see some major changes in the current structures of currencies as well. The Federal Reserve in America are very bullish at the moment. They're looking at 4 interest rate hikes for 2018, still in spite of what is happening in the markets. There's still, even some of the doves within the Fed are still a bit hawkish, but there's definitely signs of them reconsidering. So we can only just look at what we can see on the charts and attempt to trade into the future with what we've got. So a mix of fundamentals and a mix of technical analysis. Looking at the NASDAQ, again, this is all the monthly chart. It's looking like a large hanging man there, and again, another bearish indication. The Dow, so that's the top 30 US companies, and when we start getting into the European markets, you can see how mixed they are. This is the DAX. Sorry, this is the DAX here, and you can just see how it's starting to get quite choppy. You'll also see that with the Italian and the Spanish. I like to trade the Spanish. It's quite an exciting little trade. I won't trade it for long, but I can pick up some pretty good moves. So looking at some of the currencies that I'm interested in, I've been very interested in watching this ACAD go bearish. We'll find it better on the lower time frames when we get down to the, check out what this week did. So we've got a very bearish candle. It's popped back up slightly, and I'm expecting that to go down to this area over here. So I'll look to see how that moves next week. AJ, I haven't seen much on AJ that I'm interested in. It's definitely in a range. Now, the Aussie New Zealand, the Aussie Kiwi has just come into a little trend that I've picked off over the last few weeks. I'll just check it out on the monthly to be sure that it's hit quite well, and I'll watch that carefully to see if there's any signs of it going bearish next week. But that's a very big bullish candle. I've noticed a few touches in this area here, so that's an area of interest to me. The Aussie is fairly weak. I can't really find anything of interest with the Aussie. That candle there showed some promise for a move back up, but as you can see, over the last week it headed back down. Looking at the monthly again, because we are at the end of the month, very strong bearish candle. But it is hitting on support, so see if it breaks. Another range bound. This is the CAD Swissy, CAD JPY. Doing a bit of analysis on that, but to be fair, I haven't really liked any of the JPY pairs over the last month. EA is a little bit interesting right now. I know the Euro Summit is going on, and thinking that maybe there might be some strengthening within the Aussie. But when we get moved down into the lower time frames, you'll start to see what I mean. This is the weekly. You can see we've got this nice parallel channel moving up. And now we get into the daily. Why I'm interested is that there's been these 3 rejections from the spot here. It's testing it again. If it fails and comes below this candle here, I'd be pretty keen to trade that back down back down to this area here. So I'll keep an eye on this over the next week or so, and if it comes back below this area here, I think we're going to have a pretty good, there seems to be a little bit of support over here, maybe an area of interest in there. I'll just put a little line over there to show that I've spotted that. But yeah, it looks like it's has an opportunity there. UCAD looks like it's come back up for a test again. If the euro starts softening, and maybe the CAD might go a little bit bullish on some of the oil prices that are starting to kick in. We'll see. I just want to check to the month. Definitely looking, we've got this wedge in here, but there's a couple of key points that it seems to be just touching on there. Not a fan of trading UCAD, and definitely don't like trading EG. You can see for the last few months it's been going nowhere, so you can't see any point in trading that. EJ, yeah, has some downside potential, but I'd wait to see how the other ones perform before I take an EJ trade. If the volatility or the anxiety hits the market around the tariffs, then next month we may see some strengthening of the JPYs. So keep an eye on that, especially considering the weak euro. Yeah, the euro in New Zealand has been doing nothing, not worth trading. Interesting monthly candle on the EU. I'll watch that to see if the US starts to soften even further. I am quite interested in that, but I think I've got a more potential out of the pound. The pound's starting to excite me a bit. The Brexit negotiations are at a crucial stage. You can see in here where there's been a bit of build-up, shall we say, bit of build-up of tension within this range, and we seem to be getting into this area here where it's kind of forcing itself in. It did break down. I took a trade on that candle there, which I was pretty happy with, but we can see this bullish movement, so there's still room within this. As you can see, I am bullish on the pound. I'm not interested in trading the CAD. That's all I'll say about that. And same with the chef. I don't really trade chef pairs. I think there's again, if there is some volatility, if price was to break down under this line here, I'd be a little bit interested. But really, the one that I see is showing a lot of potential is GU. If we go down into the lower time frames, we can see this strong descending wedge. We've come onto a reasonable support here. And that goes right back to 2016, was an area of interest for the market. So yes, I'll be watching this area here. If it breaks up, I'll be keen.